Now we're going to get into a little bit more detail of the types of and extent of controls, verification of external provided processes, products, and services. A little bit more detail. First of all, we have to ensure the supply of product or service does not adversely affect the ability to consistently provide customers with acceptable products and services. Are they repeatable? Can we count on them to produce or provide the same product or service continually at the same quality? The organization shall ensure suppliers' processes remain within the control of their quality management system. Define intended controls and resulting output. What are the acceptance criteria for our suppliers to produce this product? We have to take actions, consider the potential impact of the organization's ability to consistently meet customer and applicable statutory and regulatory requirements. We have to look at the effectiveness of the supplier, the controls applied, what kind of controls have we applied, and the results of periodic reviews, performance reviews. We have to take action on that. Determine the verification, the truth, the accuracy, or the validity necessary to ensure the requirements are met. When the risk of nonconformities or counterfeit product is high, inspections and periodic testing shall be included in the planning process as part of the purchase order or statement of work that they're going to perform. Customer verification activities at any level does not absolve responsibility from the organization. Even if the customer goes in and checks on our supplier, our sub-tier, and so forth, we're still responsible for the product or service provided. And verification activities can include review objective evidence of the process, product, or service. This could be test results, certifications, statistical process control charts, change assessments. We can audit and inspect at the provider, so we can go to their facility. We can review required documentation as it comes in or have them send it to us before they ship it. Review of production part approval. They can do a first product run, send us the first product for approval before they produce other products. Inspect a product verification or service upon receipt. We can do it on our receiving dock. And review of delegation product reviews. In other words, if we have a delegated representative at their facility, we can use them to approve the product. Now this section here is very important because it deals with product recall. There's occasions where that has to take place or may have to take place. Received and released product recall. Now, there are occasions sometimes where product comes in and we can't do a full detail inspection, but we want to get it on the production line. How do we handle that? So it talks about product is received and released to production before final acceptance will be identified to allow a recall when found that it is out or does not meet the requirements. Periodically monitor the delegated representative. We have to actually monitor their performance. We go in and review them. We spend time with them. We make sure they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. We look at their documentation, their process of inspections, and so forth. Because they represent us. Evaluate external test reports. Audit test reports to confirm the product meets the requirements. Raw material used for critical applications shall be reviewed for accuracy of the test report. We have to make sure that test report is correct. Remember, we're always looking for the possibility of counterfeit parts or the possibility of something coming in with the paperwork that doesn't match the part. Doesn't meet the requirements. We never want to install that in our product. The next section we're going to deal with is section 843, and that's information for external providers. What type of information? It gets into the specifics of what we have to provide them. The external providers can deliver quality products and services and meet our defined requirements. We have to do a few things. Number one is the most important is communicate to the external provider the requirements for the processes, product, or service to be provided, such as specifications, drawing processes, requirements, and relevant technical data. We have to provide them with that, give them access to that. We also have to provide requirements for approval of the products and service, methods, process, equipment, the release of product and service. We have to let them know what the approval process is. Competence of personnel qualification. We have to define what the personnel qualifications are. Obviously, if it's welding, we have to make sure we have welded certified in accordance with the requirements. Interactions of our organization, how we interact with them has to be defined. We tell them what we're going to do, how we're going to interact with them, how we're going to communicate. We're going to let them know what type of monitoring we're going to perform on them. Now, what used to be called the right of entry years ago is now classified like this: verification and/or validation at the supplier's premises by the organization, customer, or other interested party. It could be the FAA, it could be some government agency, it could be some major client. We want them to control design and development. Critical items and key characteristics, we want them to do that. We want to tell them what they are. Test verification inspection, including production process verifications, we want to tell them what that is. This is the information we supply them. And we want to tell them if they have to use any statistical techniques for product acceptance. We may want them to have a quality management system in place that's certified, or we may not. Depends on, like I said, the criticality and what they're providing. Obviously, if it's off the shelf something, it's just a part number from the customer. Use customer designated or approval external providers, including process sources. When required, when the customer has that, we have to flow that down to our suppliers. Flow down the information that the customer says are the approved suppliers. We have to tell them that they have to notify us when non-conforming process, product, or services and obtain approval for their disposition. If they're going to fix something or perform a repair on something, we want to know what that is. If they're going to send us something that's repaired. And anytime there's any changes, we've approved this supplier to do something, and they have a process and procedures and the equipment and personnel to do that. They have to notify us if there's any changes to the process, product, or service, or location of the manufacturing, and obtain approval for their disposition. They have to obtain approval from us when they do that. We have to flow down to providers applicable on customer requirements. Any customer requirements that come into us, we let them know. Provide a test sample such as production method, number, storage conditions, or design approval, inspection, verification, or auditing process. We may supply them with information that they need, or what we're going to require from them, or how we're going to do it. There's always a need to retain documented information, including the retention periods and disposition requirements. We want the right of access by organizations, customer, regulatory authority to the area or facility and documented information. We want to ensure persons be aware of their contribution to the compliance of the product safety and the importance of ethical behavior. Section 8.5 deals with production. Everything it takes from the tooling, the equipment, the software, validating processes, manufacturing the processes, traceability from cradle to grave. This is going to be a lot of fun. This is a good section. Has a lot of good material in there.